The applause hit first, sharp, ruthless like gunfire bouncing off marble. I was standing in the back row of the auditorium, hands folded, spine straight, wearing a civilian suit so plain it was almost an apology. My brother stood on the stage in his crisp uniform, chest out, trident pinned, smiling like a man who'd finally beaten the ghost he'd been chasing his whole life. That ghost was me. My father was 2 rows ahead, shoulders wide, pride radiating off him, like het me mother dabbed at her eyes cameras. Flash names were called, futures were blessed. No one looked at me. That was the plan. Then the general paused. He didn't look at my brother. He didn't look at the audience. He looked directly at me. The room held its breath. "Colonel," he said, voice calm, amplified, undeniable, "you're here?" Time fractured. My father's jaw unlocked and dropped. My mother turned. Slow, confused. Me brother's smile cracked at the edges like glass under pressure. I didn't move. I didn't smile. I just nodded. And in that silence, years of betrayal finally learned how to scream. They had already written my ending for me. Navy dropout. Couldn't handle it. Too soft. Wasted potential. I let them. Because the loudest victories are the ones no one hears coming. I remember when the betrayal first learned my name. We were boys then, my brother and I sharing a room that smelled like sweat and ambition-y, was all fire-y, was precision-y, ran fast-y, planned ahead. When we talked about the Navy, he wanted the trident-y, wanted the long game. "SEALs get the glory," he used to say. "Colonels write the orders," I'd reply. He'd laugh, everyone did, including my father. That laugh stayed with me longer than any bruise. The first cut wasn't dramatic, it never is. It came as silence. Missed calls, delayed replies, conversations that stopped just short of something honest. When I came home from training, exhausted but intact, my father asked my brother about his progress first. Always him. I didn't mind at first. He was used to being the quiet one, the reliable one, the one who didn't need applause to function. What I didn't know was that silence had been weaponized. Behind my back. I found out the truth by accident. That's how betrayal likes to be discovered, when it's sloppy from overconfidence. I was home on leave. My brother had left his laptop open. A message blinked on the screen. "Dad says if you push harder, they'll wash him out on their own. Just keep your head down." I read it twice. Then a third time. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. Something colder took over. They weren't rooting for me to fail. They were engineering it. It made sense then. The whispered doubts. The exaggerated concerns about my temperament. The way my evaluations always seemed to hit an invisible ceiling. Someone had been talking. Someone with my last name. I didn't confront them. That's what they expected. Instead, I adjusted. I stopped correcting lies. I stopped defending my record. I let the rumor grow legs and run. "Dropout," my aunt said once at dinner, not unkindly. I nodded. Better to be underestimated than watched closely. While they mourned my failure, I transferred quietly. Black Ingrid Tapeno ceremony. Special programs don't advertise, they observe. I became a shadow with rank. Every assignment classified, every success, buried under acronyms and silenced promotions, came without announcements. Commendations arrived sealed. I never corrected my family. Why would I? They were finally telling the story I needed them to believe. Years passed. My brother became the golden son. My father bragged about him to strangers. My mother framed newspaper clippings, received fewer call sorter texts. I attended holidays. Smiley listened. I watched. Betrayal doesn't disappear, it waits for the right moment to collect interest. So does patience. The plan didn't come together all at once. It never does. It assembled itself in pieces, each lie they told becoming a lever, each insult a brick in the foundation. I made sure my records were airtight. I made sure my superiors knew my family background. I made sure one general, in particular, understood the irony of my silence. He appreciated irony. The invitation to my brother's SALL ceremony arrived in a thick envelope. My name was misspelled. That felt appropriate. I almost didn't go. Not because I was afraid, but because timing matters. Then I realized this wasn't about confrontation. It was about exposure. The auditorium smelled like Polish and pride. I took my seat in the back, where forgotten people sit. My brother never looked my way. Father didn't bother scanning the room. I was already invisible. Until I wasn't. "Colonel, you're here?" The general's voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Authority doesn't shout. The silence that followed was surgical. My father turned first. His eyes narrowed, confused, annoyed, then widened as recognition collided with denial. My brother's face went pale. The general smiled not at him but at me. "We don't often get to honor two exceptional service members from the same family," he continued, though one chose the spotlight and the other chose the spine of the operation. Murmurs rippled. My father stood halfway, then sat back down, like his legs had forgotten him. After the ceremony, the room buzzed like a disturbed hive. My brother found me near the exit. "Colonel," he said, the word foreign in his mouth. I studied him. The metals, the confidence that had always rested on someone else doing the hard thinking. "You knew," I said quietly. He swallowed. That was all the confirmation I needed. My father approached slower. "Older, smaller. When were you going to tell us?" he asked. I met his eyes. "When you stopped lying about me." He had no answer. Justice doesn't always need a gavel. Sometimes it just needs the truth spoken aloud in a room full of witnesses. I didn't stay long. I never do. Revenge isn't about humiliation, it's about balance. They took my voice. I took back the narrative. Fair trade. Later that night, alone, I allowed myself one indulgence. Relief. Not joy, not anger. Relief. The kind that comes when a weight you didn't realize you were carrying finally drops to the floor. I didn't ruin my brother's moment. I contextualized it. I didn't destroy my father. I exposed him. There's a difference. People ask me now why I stayed silent for so long. I tell them the truth. Silence isn't weakness. It's cover. And the best revenge doesn't arrive screaming. It stands up quietly and lets the room realize it was wrong all along.